Well, tell us the story of why you're named 301.pro.
So the internet has some of these numbers that most of you have seen. Like if something breaks on Amazon and you can't get to a product page, do you know what a 404 is?
Yeah, yeah.
So 404, most of your audience will
Page,
know is
page, page
not
not found.
found.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. And that happens a lot, especially when we neglect our old links. And that's typically bad because like somebody had intention to find what you once had, but you moved the cheese. And now they're like, they just end up at a dead end. So 404. It's
This
generally
happened
not good.
this week to my company. This week, okay?
Tell me.
Yeah, it's a 404, a dead link.
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh, we forgot the one in the footer, but way out here, right?
There you go. There's actually 404 managers that will alert you on 404 spikes because we all do this. We're human. We're like, okay, we got a new web page out, but then, oh, we forgot to update the footer. And usually we stumble across it ourselves, or a customer asks us, they're like, hey, this isn't working. You're like, so then you go fix it. Okay, so that's 404. 500, you might know, is server error. So here's the nerdy part. Do you know what 301 is?
That one I don't know.
Okay, 301 is for redirect. And ultimately, my whole company is found on this concept that when you click a link, instead of being hard coded to what we call a final destination, that's the hyperlink that you do now. You like write some text, highlight, add link, landing page. Now that link is hard coded to the landing page. And of course, you could manually change it. But with 301 redirect, we put an engine in the middle that lets you update that link with the engine in the middle. So over the next hour, we'll talk about 1,000 different examples, but all of them universally are just using this engine to say, hey, I'm smart enough to now send you to a new place. Like the product launch announcement, we call that a date link, which is very simple. Before this date, go here. After this date, go there. And it just is a little brain that says, I know what time it is, and I can make that decision for you.
Yeah. Okay. So then that's a good explanation, because I think what you're getting at there in your first example, right? If I can replay it back, before you launch a product, you may want the link to go to something that is like building excitement for the launch, right? Or building anticipation, right? But then after you launch the product, you hope that you would like that if people go back to that same link, now they actually get led to the actual product, not all the pre-launch stuff that you were trying to do before.
That's exactly right. So imagine you wrote a blog post and you write a blog post about my product launch, but I'm like, hey, Alec, use this link. And let's call it, we'll just make something up, 301.pro/product launch/Alec.
Yeah.
And that's a link I give you.
Yeah.
And that /Alec is important because now I can do attribution based on how many people come through to the press release. Barb, you'd have the same link. Yours would just be /Barb or /123 affiliate code, initials. People use lots of things there, but you're absolutely right. And what I don't want to have to do is burden you later to say, hey, Alec, change that link to the press release to the product. And I don't want to have to do that 200 times.
Right.
In fact, I don't do that. And that's the problem. So let's say that your URL is pro/pitch deck. And that's your URL. You could send it to 100 people and people update the link. But you could also do pitch deck /Scott. And then it's the same link, but you could customize that link for every person you send it to. Then when somebody clicks the link, they're like, oh, Scott clicked this link.
I knew it.
Like you can individualize. Meanwhile, it's the same link. You don't have to create, if you're pitching to 20 companies, you just use one link to 20 times.